Hey y'all. So I've been so busy this month that I almost forgot to do my 12 by 12 Junk Journal Challenge 2025 video. It is hosted by Dawn from Scrapbook Sage, and there's a whole bunch of people that's also doing this every month. So I will have all that information down in the description. And this is what we're going to be making. And just a quick explanation of how this came to be is my desk was a mess and I was looking for something and I couldn't find it. And so when that happens, I have to craft my way down to the bottom to find what I'm looking for. So this is just a scrap digital on cardstock that I'm not using anymore, because I tend to collect those too. And since I'm not using it, I want to glue this down. So it's going to be a top pocket. And then also I have a pocket here. And then this is supposed to be a belly band. But what I realized is that this lace is kind of flimsy and I should have put it on, excuse me, a piece of acetate. So I hope that's not glaring you out, but this is what we're gonna do. And this is the lace that I've chosen to use for that. And is that the front? I think that's the front. Yeah. And so because two whole pieces aren't gonna fit, it's gonna be a smaller belly band. And so I'm just going to cut it off right here. Stuff's falling. I need to clean my desk again already. Okay, and then what I'm gonna do is kind of gauge where this is gonna be just by, are you even straight? Yeah, you have to be straight for me. Okay, so I need to cut it, what is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.5. Okay. So in order to make this so it's gonna fit on there, I need to make it 5.5. And so now we can keep this for something else. Okay. And I'm gonna go ahead and put this on here now. But now I need to make it straight and cut it 1, 2, 3 at 4, at 3 and 3/4. And let me just turn that around because that side has already been cut. Okay, you might could use that little piece there too. Okay, and so now what I'm gonna do, that's the front side. Okay, I am going to just put a little bit of glue on this, and I'm using art glitter glue because I don't want this to move while I'm sewing. And as far as my experience goes, art glitter glue is the only glue that I've ever used with acetate that you can't see after it's dry. So I am going to sew that down, but I'm going to give that a minute to dry. So I'm just going to put it aside. And we need to do this in stages. So I'm gonna go ahead and sew this down, and then we're going to sew this piece down. But let me just go ahead and get it ready. Okay, so I want it just a little bit shy. Let me put this aside for a second. Just a little bit shy of that. So that needs to be about right there. Okay, we're just going to get rid of those strings because I want to be able to see the edges of this. And so now, oh, you know what? I probably need to iron that just a little bit. Okay, that's not going to take but a second to heat up. Just because since I'm not gluing this down, it's not gonna, like, I'm not gonna be able to press it out with my hands because it's not gonna be glued down like I do my covers. Okay, off camera for just a second. Okay, there we go. So what I'm gonna do actually is I'm gonna go ahead and sew a straight, or not a straight line. I'm gonna go ahead and sew a stitch here. And then I'm gonna sew everything together. So I hope that didn't make you dizzy. And if you see any mess behind that, don't look. Okay, so I'm just gonna go ahead and line up the edge of my presser foot with the edge of the fabric. And I do have a thread cutter back here, but the reason I'm not using it is because the thread that I have is old, or the thread that I'm using actually is old. And when I use my thread cutter, it tends to tear the thread, and then I have to rethread the machine, and it's just it's not fun, especially when I'm trying to video. Okay, so I'm just gonna put a little bit of glue down there, and that way, hopefully it won't move. Okay, so we're gonna go back up here. I hope I'm not making you dizzy. And we're just gonna go around all the edges. And this particular stitch, so I have a Brother SQ9285. It's a computerized sewing machine. And the stitch that I'm using is a 20. And it's a forgiving stitch when it comes to sewing a straight line. But when you turn corners, you have to always make sure that it's in the center part. Otherwise, it'll be in a line not where you want it. That makes sense. It won't be lined up with the edge of the fabric is what I'm trying to get at. If you have it behind instead of in the middle, then right, so if I put it here, then it's going to be, if I turn this, it's going to be over here, and we're going to put it back in the middle. And so if I had it back here, it would be closer to this edge. But now it's going to be right where we want it. And that goes the same for a zigzag stitch, which I think on here it's a 4 or a 5. Okay, and this 20 stitch does not have a back stitch capability. So now we're going to, let me pull you up a little bit. Okay, so now we're going to do just a little bit of layering. Where'd my, here it is. And then these we're going to sew at the same time. No, I'm not going to be able to do that. Okay, so what I'm going to have to do is get out my glue again, and I'm just gonna put it right here. And then right here. Did that come out? All right, just a little bit came out. Okay, so the reason I'm doing that is because it doesn't go all the way to the edges here. And so I need to sew this first. And okay, we need to go that way. I need to sew that first in order to make sure that this acetate stays down. And then that way you can tell it's definitely going to be a separate pocket. Now, if I went back there, it would be too far away towards me than I want it to be. So we just need to make sure it's in the middle. And I keep having to fiddle with it just because the lace is kind of moving and I don't want it to buckle. Okay, back to the middle and then down. And it sounds like my thread is gonna break. It's the only thing about using old thread is you have to be very careful because otherwise it might get caught up in your machine, which it's done for me a couple of times, and that's no fun. Okay, so now I shouldn't have to tack this down. I just need to put it where I want it. And we're going to start at this edge right here. I would use a straight stitch right here, but I want to make sure that I'm getting my fabric as close to the stitch as close to the edge as possible so I don't lose too much pocket space, but also so I catch the top part of that lace so it doesn't go anywhere for sure. Okay. We're going to go back down here. I hope I'm not making you dizzy. Okay. And all this came about because I couldn't find this, and I had to clean my way to the bottom of the desk. So I'm sure this isn't anything new. The reason why I'm going to make sure that this is sewn down is because I have blue thread in my bobbin and black thread in my top. And that is just because I have more than 60 bobbins that I know of that have thread in them right now, left over from various projects that are finished, and those bobbins aren't needed anymore. So actually what I should do is one of the best ways to use up old bobbins is to make a scrappy quilt. And I know this isn't a quilt channel, but if you'd like to see some sewing, just let me know down in the comments, and I for sure will do some brief sewing lessons if that's what you'd like me to do. So I hope you enjoyed this little project, and I hope everyone's having a great day and happy crafting. Don't forget to go stop by everybody else's channel Like I said, Dawn from Scrapbook Sage is the host. And this is a 12 by 12 Junk Journal Challenge 2025, and it lasts all year long. I don't know who April is, and I'm not sure of who May is because I got to clean my desk to find the entire list. But everybody will be down in the description box so you can go see them too. So happy crafting and have a great day.